Hey everyone, how are you? Hey everyone, this is Bola. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes for those of you who are still trying to sign in. Hi, hey Simply Mofit. Thanks for joining the Instagram Live. I'm excited to have you guys here. I'm excited to talk about mindset, goal setting, discipline, all that good stuff as it relates to your finances. And we're going to get started in just a minute. If you're catching this as a replay, welcome. I'm excited to have you here as well. So let me just tell you guys a quick lay of the land, and then we'll get started. So depending on where you are, if you're on a computer or on your phone, there is a chat area where you can leave comments, have conversation with each other, and there's also a question section. So if you're on your computer, the chat should be on the right-hand side of your screen, and then the questions where you can ask questions should be on the bottom of your screen. And you can really ask questions in the chat box if you can't find the questions section, but I'll probably be looking at the questions section more often. But yeah, I'm excited to have you guys here. This is a really important topic. This is something that we all need to be actively working on. You don't work on mindset for one day and then you're done. You don't work on discipline for one day and be done. You don't work on goal setting once and be done. It's something that is always a work in progress. It's something that you want to be constantly working on, reviewing, assessing, improving. So we're going to deep dive into all of that. I have my notes. I'm excited to get into this topic because this is such an awesome time to do this. I just had a Facebook and Instagram Live where I talked about why this is such a great time to be doing this. It's the beginning of fall. There are 4 months left in the year. It's a great time to get yourself remotivated and re-inspired to pursue the things you really want to do this year, 2017. So I'm just going to do a quick check-in to make sure that you guys can see and hear me. So if you guys can see me and you can hear me okay, leave a comment in the comment box. Say hello, say hi. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me, you can see me. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Nana. Hi, Ruth. Okay, so Lauren, you can hear, you can see me. Anybody else? I know there's a number of you who are online. Okay, good. Awesome. Yay. Hi, Toya. Hey, Simply Mofit again. Hi, Madeline. Awesome. I'm excited to have you guys here. Hi, Chiso. Okay, great. So, hi, Rayton. Okay, awesome. You guys can hear me. You can see me. So before I get into things, hi, Sherelle. I will introduce myself. So if this is the first time you are joining a chat session or the first time you are engaging with Clever Girl Finance, my name is Bola Shokunbi. I'm the founder of Clever Girl Finance. And through Clever Girl Finance, I empower women to build wealth, to ditch debt, save money, and build real wealth. That is really my mission and my goal. And I do that through, the Clever Girl Finance platform, through social media, through my website, my blog, where I have a ton of content, through the podcast, through my one-on-one coaching, through my accountability program. And I'll tell you guys more about that later. But the goal here is to empower women. The goal with Clever Girl Finance is to empower women like you, who are serious about getting your finances in order, empower you guys to ditch your debt, adjust your mindsets, get in the space where you're actually accomplishing your goals, you're saving money, you're investing, and you're building wealth so that eventually, or, with the end goal being that you can start to live out that dream life that you imagine. You can start to be at peace with your finances. You can get to that happy place with your money. And I'll tell you that it is very possible. It's all about taking the right actions and, putting in the effort. So that's what Clever Girl Finance is about. And this chat series is something that I do 1 to 2 times a month. Sometimes I do it alone, sometimes I do it with a guest. And it's basically a forum where I discuss, or me and the guest discuss, a topic as it relates to money and how it can impact your life, and how things that you can be doing to make sure that you are making the most of the opportunities that you have. You are making the most of, how to do things like pay off your debt, like save, like invest, like, things like that. So before I dive into today's topic, grab your pen, grab your notebook, And if there are any distractions around you, just shut them off for the next 30 to 45 minutes while I go over our topic. I think this is a really, really important topic, guys, because mindset, discipline, goal setting, they are the foundational aspects of being financially successful. If you put the money aside, you need to have these things on lockdown. You need to have these things in place in your life. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much money you're earning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if I hand you $1 million and give it to your hand right now. If you don't have the mindset in place, if you don't have the discipline in place, if you don't have the right goals to support what it is you're trying to accomplish, you're going to fail with money, and you don't want that. That is why you're here. So get your pen, get your notebook. If there are any distractions, shut them down. And I see a few more people joining in. So welcome. I'm excited to have you guys here. Okay, so I have my own notes too, because I have a list of things I want to talk about. And feel free to ask questions as I go over stuff. Feel free to, leave a comment. Tell me how you're feeling, because this chat series, this chat session is really for you. It's for me to engage with you and for you to engage with me as well. And just to, if there's anything that's pressing on your mind about where you are with your financial situation as it relates to this topic, let's talk about it. I'm more than happy to talk you through whatever might be going on. So let's talk about mindset. So mindset is the first part of this topic because, you guys know what mindset is. It is everything that happens in your head. It is what you think, which in turn leads to what you feel, which in turn leads to what you say. And your mindset is really, really important when it comes to your financial success, because believing that you can be wealthy, knowing that you can be wealthy, knowing that you can pay off your debt, knowing that you can be able to, live out the life you want, take the dream vacations, go shopping and not feel guilty, have the dream job, all that stuff starts to manifest in your mind, in your head. You have to believe it first for it to actually come to fruition. You have to, be convinced that this is going to happen. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself thinking about negative things. You're going to find yourself thinking about things that don't support what you're trying to accomplish. You're going to find yourself talking down to yourself, talking down about other people. You're going to find yourself becoming a naysayer. And if you look around you, in your present or in your past, and you look at every person or every person that you have encountered who is a naysayer, who is, a negative person, they're probably not very successful. Especially in certain aspects of your lives. And so when it comes to your finances, your mindset is the first part. And the first thing you have to understand with mindset and how it ties into your goal of becoming wealthy or becoming debt-free or whatever your big goals are, is that you have to first decide that you are going to be wealthy. You have to decide that you're going to be wealthy. And that goes hand in hand with being grateful for what you have now, being grateful for where you are now, being grateful for the wisdom of what you know now, even if you've made a ton of mistakes. It's knowing that, okay, all these things have happened and I'm in this place now, and I know all these things now, and I know that I want to make changes, and I know that I'm going to be successful, and I know that I'm going to be wealthy. And it's making that decision that you are going to accomplish this thing. You have to first decide, you have to first convince yourself, you have to first know in your heart that this is something that you are worthy of. This is something that you deserve, and this is something that you can do. If you read profiles of like big athletes, who win, marathons or huge races in the Olympics and things like that, a lot of them will tell you that they envision themselves crossing the finish line even before the race has started, when they're practicing. That's all they see. They don't see any of the obstacles around them. They don't see any of the other runners. They don't hear the crowd cheering or the crowd booing. All they see in their mind's eye is themselves crossing that finish line in first place. And that's exactly what you want to think about when you're, that's exactly how you want to think about accomplishing your financial goals. So in order to decide, though, that you want to be wealthy, in order to be convinced of that decision, there's a few things that you need to do. Number one is you have to determine why. Why do you want to be wealthy? Why do you want to pay off your debt? Why do you want to have that dream career? Why do you want to have that dream life? Why? What is your why? So if you guys are in the comment section, feel free to type in your why. What is that reason? It could be one reason, it could be multiple reasons. What is that reason that wants you to, that makes you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish? What is that why that has you here? Why are you listening to this chat series? Why are you watching this video? What is your why? What's the thing that, you want more than anything that is going to help you make that decision to be wealthy? So you guys leave some comments in the chat. I want to see what you're thinking. But it's important that you know what that why is. You have to know what that why is, because it makes practical sense that if you want something bad enough, right? If you want something bad enough, if you are convinced of something bad enough, it's going to, the decisions you make around it are going to be easy. And it's going to be easier for you to pursue it because you want it that bad. Well, on the flip side, if you don't, you're like, oh, that would be nice to have. Oh yeah, whatever, you don't really want something, then you probably won't do it. And think about, there are examples in your day-to-day life. There are examples in my own day-to-day life, of me saying that, oh, I'd really love to, grow my hair out natural. This is a random example, but once upon a time I thought I could be a naturalista and have like really long hair, but I didn't really want it that much because I couldn't be bothered to put in the effort of the deep conditioning and the co-washing and all that kind of stuff. To me, it was a chore. It wasn't a want. But on the flip side, me wanting something bad enough is me wanting to achieve financial success, because for me, it is me, the way I was raised, what I saw growing up. It's, seeing my mom's friends being put out of their houses by husbands, seeing my mom's friend go through the death of a spouse and their families coming to take everything that they had, seeing my mom's friends in our house with nowhere else to go, and my mom trying to help them, my mom and my dad trying to help them get back on their feet. That is, that is a light under my butt as to why I don't ever want to be broke, why I have to achieve financial success. My other why is my children. I want to set a good example for them. So when you want something really bad enough, when it's in your heart, when it's like you think about it and, it drives emotion, then that's what's going to help you make those decisions. So when you think about what you want to accomplish, right, with your finances, you want to find what your why is. What is the reason? What is the real reason? And it can be whatever you want it to be. Right? I'm going to get into that in a second. It doesn't have to be what the world says it has to be. It doesn't have to be because, you want to take care of your kids. It can be because you want to have a fabulous wardrobe and that's what you really, really, really want. It can be as shallow as you want it to be. That's entirely up to you, but you have to be convinced of your why. You have to want that thing bad enough. So, I'm just going to go through. So Lauren, you said your why is to retire at the age of 58. Okay. Simply Moffat, you said it's financial peace. Cheryl, financial independence. Christina, to be debt-free, to buy a house. Simply Moffat, to evolve as a person. Other comments, to stop living in a perpetual cycle, to build generational wealth for your future children. You want to live comfortably without worries of finances, paying off your debt. Those are all great whys. And so your whys are also going to tie into your goals, which we're going to talk about in a second, but you have to have that why. It has to be the thing that's going to get you up in the morning, and when you open your eyes, it's like on your mind. That's your why. You have to want it, right? And again, like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be what the world tells you your why should be. It's what you truly want in your life. And the next I was going to add about that is you have to let go of standards, right? In order to really harness that mindset, in order to really develop that mindset, standards in your life have to go. You cannot live around your life around standards. And by standards, I mean what other people expect you to be, or what the world expects you to be. There are tons of standards, right? There are standards for women around, oh, you should be married by a certain age. Oh, you need to have kids. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, if you're not earning six figures or this, like there's all these different kind of random standards. Some of them don't even make any sense, that as a society, as people, we kind of are conditioned to being tied to these standards. These standards are what we use as the gauge for our success. Oh, if you're going to retire, you have to have $1 million. You have to have $10 million. If you're going to be famous, you have to be as famous as Beyonce. There's all these random standards that we kind of like hold ourselves to, but you have to let go of those standards, and you have to bring your why above the standards. Your why is going to take precedence over any standards. And your why is what you as a person, what me, Bola, what I want. That's my why. And that why is going to drive the decisions. It's going to drive me deciding that I want to be wealthy, me deciding that I want to be a multimillionaire, me deciding that I want my family to be comfortable. Your why is going to drive the decisions, not the standards of the world. Because sometimes a lot of people fail at what they're trying to accomplish because they hold themselves up to a standard of something they don't even really want or they don't really care about. And they think that because, you know, they've been told or they've been conditioned that they have to follow the standard, that is what life is, and that's not correct. So number one, you're gonna have to decide that you're wealthy. Number two, you have to determine your why. What are the things that you value most? What are the things that, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about? And that's what's going to help you drive those decisions. And you have to let go of these standards. The next thing about mindset is that when you start to think about, you know, okay, I'm going to be wealthy, I'm going to pay off my debts, I'm going to bulk up my emergency fund, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you know, I can do it, I've decided I'm going to do it. When you start making all these big decisions, you know, you're telling yourself, you're going to have this high, you're going to have this day where like, you know what, old things are washed away, this is a brand new day, I've learned my lessons, I'm going to do all these things perfectly. And then the fear is going to start to creep in. You know, it's that little voice in the back of your head somewhere that's going to tell you, oh, who are you? You can't do this. What makes you think you can do this? Do you know how many times you have failed before? Why do you think you're going to be successful? Why do you know, nobody else has done this. Why do you think it's going to be you? There's always going to be that little tiny bit of self-doubt, little tiny bit of you know, fear in the back of your head. And that is normal. You know, I am afraid every day. And the biggest lesson I've learned about fear is that you have to embrace it. So I'm going to ask another question. How many of you guys every day think about your goals, think about your life, think about what you want to ultimately accomplish and are afraid of it? So say yes, type yes in the comments if you've ever felt this way. And if you've never felt this way, then type no. Just, you know, this is full honesty here. So just, you know, tell me what you're thinking. And me personally, like I said, I'm afraid every single day, but I have learned that I have to embrace fear. You know, if I want to succeed, I have to embrace fear because fear is normal. I think anybody who is in a space where they're not afraid of anything, that means they're God or they think they're God. I don't know, but everybody has a fear of something. And you know, for a lot of us, especially as women, especially due to a lot of the standards that we're held up to or that we hold ourselves up to, we have a lot of fears. We have fears of disappointing ourselves, disappointing our children, disappointing our spouses, disappointing our families. You know, we worry about what people are going to think about us, and we're afraid of, you know, those thoughts and things like that. We carry a lot of weight of fear and also self-judgment. But when it comes to fear, you have to embrace it. And a really good friend of mine, you know, she laid out this analogy for me perfectly one day, and I carry it with me all the time. And she said, when it comes to fear, it's okay for it to come along with you. So imagine yourself being on a journey. You're driving in a car, you're going on a journey to your destination. And your destination is financial freedom. And you're in this car, you're driving, and you have passengers in the car with you, right? You have motivation, you have inspiration, you have, you know, hard work, you have your discipline in there, your mindset. And one of the people in your car is going to be fear, because fear kind of comes hand in hand with all of these things. So what do you do to get past your fear? You embrace it and you tell your fear, listen, you can come along for this ride, because without a doubt, at some point on this journey, I'm going to feel you. You're going to get to me. I'm going to be afraid. Right? I'm going to be afraid of the unknown. There's going to be a bad economy. I'm going to be afraid of losing my job. I may be afraid when the stock market tanks. I might be afraid if I lose my house. I may be afraid because I think I can't accomplish my goals. I might be afraid because I think my business is going to fail. I might be afraid because I feel like I've put in so much work, and if I fail, I'm going to have to start over from the beginning. I may be afraid for so many reasons. And you know, I'm going to accept you as a passenger in this car. I'm going to accept you as a passenger in this journey, but you have to stay there and you have to be quiet. You're not allowed to ask me to pull over this car. You're not allowed to ask me for a pit stop. You cannot go to the bathroom. We're not stopping. because of you fear. We're going to keep going on this journey because we have a destination to get to. So you cannot allow your fear. Fear is normal. That's the first thing you have to understand. You're going to be afraid of something. You're going to, even if you're not afraid of anything now, there might be things that happen, circumstances you don't plan that occur, that happen to you that are going to cause you to, feel fear in the pit of your stomach. But it is understanding that you're not going to allow yourself to stop in that place. You're not going to allow yourself to pause your entire life to focus on the fear. You're going to keep going. And if that means you're going to drag the fear with you by by its hair, you're going to pull it by the collar of its shirt so you can keep making progress towards your goal, you are going to keep going with that fear by your side. And that is how you make progress. That is how people accomplish great things. Having, and again, in addition to fear, what comes in and what's really going to support you is your faith. And remember, we talked about at the beginning is that you're going to have to decide that you want to accomplish this goal. You're going to have to decide and believe that you can be wealthy. You can believe that you can pay off this debt, believe that you can do all these things. And when you have that belief, it's going to act as a buffer on that fear, that every time that fear tries to raise its head or put its face in front of you when you're driving, your faith, that belief, that decision that you've made is going to suppress it every time. And so that is what you want to keep in mind, right? A lot of times people will say things to you. People say things to me all the time about what I'm trying to do with Clever Girl Finance, about how I'm trying to raise my children, about, about what I'm trying to do in terms of my financial goals and what I want to accomplish. People say all kinds of things to you. And when you stop and think about the things people say to you, like, honestly, if you are not someone who is confident, and it's okay not to be confident because we all have those days of low confidence. If you're not someone who is confident, if you're not someone who is strong on their own 2 feet, things that people say to you can make you afraid. They can discourage you. They can make you feel like, oh my God, there's no way I can ever do this. And then that's where fear steps in and it blocks your path and it keeps you stuck. So again, keep that in mind that as part of your mindset, you're going to have to embrace that fear. It can come with you, it can follow you on the journey, but it can't stop you. It can't cripple you, and you can't let it take over. Let that fear be your fuel to keep going. Let that fear be the thing that keeps driving your belief, keeps driving your decision. So, one exercise that I like to do, that I like to recommend to people is get a notebook, get a piece of paper, and write down every fear you have about your finances, every fear you have about your money situation, about where you see yourself in the future, everything that you think can come in the way of you being successful that manifests as a fear. You want to write this down on one column. And then in the next column, you want to write down what you can do to overcome the fear. And it may not be like an exercise that you can do in 1 minute. It may take you a few minutes, it may take you an hour, it may take you a few hours. But for every fear that you have, I guarantee that you can come up with a counterattack to that fear. You're afraid of being broke. That means you need to go open that bank account. You need to make your first deposit, even if it's just $1. You need to start working against that fear of being broke. You're afraid of not accomplishing your goal of becoming financially successful. That means you need to get a plan in place. You need to have a financial plan in place. Maybe you need to get an accountability partner. Maybe you need someone to keep you, maybe you need to get a coach or financial planner. You need someone to keep you on your toes. That way, you know that you're doing everything possible to accomplish your goals. There is an action you can take to counter every fear. The other thing is that you can't spend your time thinking about fear all the time, right? Once you accept that it's there, then you have to push it aside and adjust your focus on what it is that you want to accomplish. And so as opposed to spending your time thinking about your fear, you want to spend your time focusing on the things that you want, and only the things that you want. And I know that 100% of us, including me, we have been guilty of focusing ourselves on the things that we don't want. So for instance, let's say somebody has a ton of credit card debt and they tell themselves, I want to get out of debt. I don't want to be, I don't want to be in debt. But they spend a lot of their time focusing on the amount of debt that they have. Every day they wake up and it's, oh my God, I owe 50,000. Oh my God, I owe 50,000. Oh my God, I owe 100,000. Oh my God, I owe 10,000. That's all they focus on. you want to focus, if you want to deal with this situation, you want to focus on what you want. And your focus is on a zero balance if you're in debt. You're not focusing on the amount that you owe. You know what you need to pay off, but you want to focus on what you want, and that is a zero balance in debt. And you want to keep that in your mind. And when you have that zero balance in your head, you go, okay, what do I need to do to get myself to this zero balance? I'm not going to keep focusing on this 50,000, on this 20,000, on this 10,000, and allow that number to overwhelm me and allow the fear to set in and allow myself to get crippled. I want to focus on what I want, and I want a zero balance. So what can I do to get myself into this zero balance? Does that make sense? So you want to make sure that you're focusing on the things that you want. Another great thing to do is start a gratitude journal, because a lot of times people's mindsets get skewed because, again, they're focusing on what they don't want. But when you have a gratitude journal, and mine is back there, I'll show you mine. I always have a new one. This is my gratitude journal, just a regular notebook. And when you have a gratitude journal, and you write down the things that you're grateful for, even if it's like some days I have pages and pages of things to write down. I made a big financial goal in my business. I hit this, I did that, I saved this, blah, blah, blah. And some days I'm like, oh my God, I don't really have much to be grateful for. But then I woke up, that's something to be grateful for. And when you can consistently remind yourself of what you have in your life to be grateful for, it's going to shift your mind away from the things that you don't want. It's going to keep you focused on, oh my God, I have all these things, I'm blessed, I should be content. And I'm going to focus on what I do want, which is getting my finances to this place, getting to that zero balance, getting to that X amount of money in my bank account, and not focus on the things that I don't want. So a gratitude journal helps. You can also do mindset exercises, things like saying affirmations every day, things like saying prayers every day. If you're a spiritual person, prayer is something that I do every night. I try to remind myself to read my Bible every morning when I wake up. I try to, make sure that I say a prayer, because prayer helps to establish your faith. And believing in yourself, having faith, putting fear aside, all of these things are things that you have to work on every single day. You can't just do it every month or every year and be like, oh my God, I'm going to be successful. It doesn't work that way. You have to have that belief. You have to work on your mindset every single day. You have to, whatever it is you need to do to get over your fear, you need to work on it every single day. So things like the gratitude journal, affirmations, saying prayers, whatever works for you. And again, there's no standard about this. There's no right way. It's what works for you. What gets your mind in that place where, like, what? Doesn't matter what today brings at me, I'm going to have a good day. What gets you there is something that is what you need to keep doing every single day. You have to, exercise your mindset. You have to practice focusing on what it is that you want to accomplish. You have to practice stating your beliefs, even if, in your heart, you're like, oh my God, I don't really believe this. Is this really going to happen? You have to keep practicing until you actually believe it, especially if your why is convincing enough. So again, I'm going to take you all the way back, to you have to have a why. You have to know why it is that you want to do this, why it is that you want to accomplish this, why it is that you want to be successful. And then finally, before I wrap up the mindset piece, is you want to control the things that you say. The things that you say are, they're critical. The words of your mouth, the words of your tongue are really, really powerful, because when it comes out of your mouth, it means you've allowed yourself to think about it. You've allowed it to manifest in your mind. You've allowed it to manifest in your heart. And now you're just speaking it out into existence. And you don't want that. If you want to be debt free, you don't ever want to say, I'm never going to be able to pay off my debt. I'm always going to be broke. I'm never going to be rich. I'm so unlucky. You don't want to say all those things. When you start to say all those things, hearing your own voice, hearing it in your own voice, hearing it in your own voice in your head, you're going to start to believe it. And then all the hard work you put in as to determine your why, making decision why you want to be successful, letting go of standards, focusing on the things you want, all that stuff just goes out into the trash, because now you're believing the things that you don't want. You're believing all the things that you said you did not want for yourself. You're saying it, and then you're believing that's what's going to happen to you. And when you start to do that, that is exactly what happens. So think about, different scenarios in your life where you really believed and you really wanted something, and it happened. were you telling yourself, oh, this is never going to happen, you know, I'm not worth it, oh, you know, it's not people like me? You were probably hoping somewhere in your heart that it did happen. And when it happened, you're like, you know what, this is awesome, I'm going to try this again. So that is the mindset piece. Do you guys have any questions so far? Any comments? Let me see. You guys still there? Type a yes in the comment section if you are, and if you can still hear me. You guys still there? Okay, yes. Okay, so let's talk about discipline now. So talk about mindset, and then the next cornerstone of success is discipline. And discipline is just basically what you do every day to keep you on your path. So a lot of people work on their mindset. A lot of people set incredible goals. You know, they make, you know, they work on all of these things. They're like, you know, my mindset is right. You know, I'm going to say my affirmations. I'm going to write. I'm going to pray every day. I'm going to become a prayer warrior. I'm going to become a spiritual queen, you know, whatever it is that they do. And this is not shade. This is just me being honest. They say all these things, but when it comes to actually taking the action to support the things that they are, you know, these mindset things they're working on that's going to ultimately lead them to the things they want to accomplish, to do the exact opposite, right? You're trying to pay off debt every single day. You're in Dunkin' Donuts because you just need coffee because, you know, you need coffee to survive. Otherwise, you're going to die. Like, you will literally die if you have no coffee. And that $50 you spend in Dunkin' Donuts every week is not going to your debt. It's going to somebody else's business. And then you tell yourself you're working on your mindset. You're doing yourself a disservice. When you are, you know, when you start to work on your discipline, the first thing with discipline is you have to lead yourself away from your distraction. That's it. If Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or buying lunch is a thing that's causing you to fall off of your goals, it's causing you to falter with your mindset, you have to lead yourself away from the distraction. So Patrice said discipline equals wealth. It sure does. It is, you know, discipline is small actions you take every single day consistently to help you get to your goal. You know, the thing with discipline, the thing where people struggle with discipline is that they take an action, then they fall off, then take an action, then they fall off, then their chart ends up looking like a zigzag, 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 and it takes them longer to get to their goal. Whereas if you take those discipline steps every single day on a straight line, you're going to get to your goal much faster. But it means sacrifice. It means giving up things. And again, this is where your why comes into play. How bad do you want this thing, right? So lead yourself away from the distraction. So if, you know, Dunkin' Donuts on your way to work is a thing that gets you, you know, causes you to spend so much money, then drive a different route to work. Buy your own coffee maker, make that investment, and it'll pay for itself in time. If buying lunch is something that, you know, you feel is causing you to fall off your goals, then spend some time on the weekend to go grocery shopping with a list, meal plan, and put your stuff in the fridge so that every day you have a lunch to take with you. If it's people in your life, and for many people, their lack of discipline is because of who they're surrounding themselves with, then it's time to readjust your circle of influence. So when you think about your goals, at what expense are you willing to allow yourself not to accomplish them? Because of somebody else who's not doing much, who's not even doing better than you, who doesn't want themselves to succeed? Are you going to not accomplish your goal because of somebody else, right? Because I'll guarantee you right now that when it comes to your retirement, when you get to whatever your retirement age is going to be, 65, 50, 40, whenever you want to retire, right? No one is going to be waiting for you on that date and say, hey girl, hey Boa, I saved this $1 million for you. Here's a bottle of champagne. Here's your mansion on the beach. Here's your New York City penthouse. Nobody's going to be there. Those people, you know, who were telling you, hey, let's go shop. Hey, let's go take that trip. YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. They're not going to be there. If anything, they're going to be like, hey girl, can you borrow me $25 because, you know, I don't have all the money to pay my rent this month. That's not what you want. So lead yourself away from the distraction. Spend less time doing those things. Spend less time with those people. And when you lead yourself away from the distraction, right, find other things to replace the time that you would otherwise spend on that distraction. So I keep using this Dunkin' Donuts, you know, example. As opposed to driving and conveniently stopping at Dunkin' Donuts, spend that time you would stop into Dunkin' Donuts to make your own coffee at home to take with you. As opposed to hanging out with that girlfriend who is all about spending money, getting into debt, opening as many credit cards as she can, spend some time watching motivational YouTube videos, watching podcasts, listening to, reading magazines, working with a coach, doing something that's going to benefit you as you work on your discipline. And again, you have to remember your why. Remember your why. So discipline, I'll give you a personal example. One of the things I wanted to do a few years ago was I wanted to get to the point where I was working out consistently. And for the life of me, I couldn't wake up early, or I would wake up early one day and I'd work out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so terrible. I can't deal with this. This is, I'll just wait another week. I'll wait another week. And then 3 years passed by and I've never been able to work out. I had never been able to work out consistently. And I really wanted to get to the point where I was working out consistently for health reasons, for fitness reasons. I wanted to be a fit person. And so one day I was like, you know what? I'm sick of just, I'm good at all these other places in my life. I'm sick of being subpar and mediocre in this part of my life when it comes to fitness. And so I got this idea to set like 17 million alarms on my phone. That was the first thing. And they would come every, 3 minutes. Wake up. And, now on the iPhone, and even a few years ago, you could put a note with your alarm as what you want it to say. And mine would be get up and work out. And then the other thing I would do is I would put my sneakers and my workout clothes on the floor, but I put it in such a way that as soon as my feet came out of the bed, I would have to step on the weights. I'd have to step on the workout band and my clothes. And if I didn't actually bend over and move them aside, I would literally stumble and hurt myself. That's what I did. I set a trap for myself every morning so that when I woke up, I had to step onto those things. And just seeing it there was, I would put on my workout clothes and I'd go work out. And once I was done, I put it all right back in that same corner. I came up with creative ways to force myself until I started to make it a habit. So that's what you want to do. Think about anything that's causing you to falter on your discipline, any triggers you might have, right? And once you've identified what they are, start to think of your counter approach. What can you do to replace the time you spend on that distraction, or to replace the time around what would cause that trigger? What can you do to force yourself to start getting used to this new line of discipline, to start getting used to taking these actions every single day? Now, I don't need an alarm to tell me to work out. I wake up and I know I want to work out. And, it's not even a question of, oh my God, I can't stand this. Like, I know it's good for me and I do it because I have an end goal. I want to be fit and I want to be healthy. Think of your finances the same way. How bad do you want to get out of your debt? How badly do you want to pay off your debt? How badly do you want to bulk up your emergency savings, max out your retirement savings, save to buy that house, save to buy that car, save to go on that luxury trip, save to buy that handbag, whatever it is, whatever that why is? How bad do you want it? And what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up in the short term to have it? Because I'll tell you, and I say this all the time, if you're part of the Clever Finance Tribe, if you follow me, every sacrifice you make now is temporary. It might take you a few months, it might take you a few years, right? But there's just something about the way God works, about the way the universe works, that when you're putting in the most effort, regardless of how Murphy tries to, disable you, and Murphy's law is basically when you set a plan, and this always happens. You set a plan, you set a goal. You're like, I'm going to pay off this debt. I'm going to save this money. I'm going to do all these things. And then something that was not related to your plan comes up. You have an unplanned bill. You have an expense you don't know how you're going to pay for. You have a car accident. Your water heater breaks. You have all kinds of random things come up. That is Murphy, or quote unquote the devil, working against you, right? But you have to tell yourself that no matter, it's just something about the way the world works, or God works, universe works, that no matter how much Murphy tries to take you off path, if you're putting in the most effort, if you're doing everything you can do within your power, things always seem to work out. You may not know how you're going to get from here to there right now. It may not be apparent to you. You may have hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You may have a huge savings goal you're trying to accomplish. And you may not know, okay, based on my current income, I don't know how I'm going to pay off this debt. Based on your current income, I don't know how I'm going to save this money. But when you're putting in the most effort and you're climbing over those hurdles as they come at you, things always seem to work out because you're motivated, you're putting in the work, and things always align themselves to your benefit. And like I said, it can take a few months, it can take a few years, but I'll tell you that once this period of sacrifice is over, once you've gotten into that space where your mindset is right, you're on top of your discipline, and you are actively taking the actions, you're making the sacrifices, you're putting in the work, you're going to get into a season where you can do whatever it is that you want to do, and you'll be able to do it knowing that you have money in the bank, knowing that you have no debt, knowing that when you lay your head on your bed at night, you're not going to feel guilty about it because you can afford this. And there's nothing better in the world than to be able to do something that you really want to do and be able to do it without guilt, and be able to do it with peace of mind about your finances, knowing that you're not going to derail yourself from your goals. People are like, oh, well, you're telling me to sacrifice. I want to live life now. I want to enjoy my life now. And that is okay. You can live your life now. You can enjoy your life now, but it has to be within reason. And that enjoyment cannot it cannot be prioritized over your goal of what you're trying to accomplish. So if you have a ton of debt, right, then does it make sense for you to go buy, I don't know, a luxury handbag, a luxury car, to take a $5,000 vacation, knowing what that money can do to the bottom line of your debt? You have to think about it. And again, your why is what's going to guide you to a lot of decisions you're going to make. Because a lot of decisions that you've made, if you think about it, a lot of decisions that you've made in your life, they're like, oh my God, I wish I didn't do that. It was because you did not follow your why. It's because you did not focus on that decision that you made of what you wanted to accomplish. So yes, you can still enjoy yourself, but within reason. You can still go to Dunkin' Donuts. May not make sense for you to go every single day. You can still buy lunch, but it may not make sense for you to buy lunch every single day and then buy dinner every single day and then look at your bill at the end of the month and see that you spent $1,000 eating out, when a lot of that money could have made a huge difference to your debt. So when it comes to discipline, again, lead yourself away from the distraction, replace the time, adjust your circle of influence, and remember your why. Patricia said, eating out is the vein of your existence. It is a work in progress. And just, again, take it day by day. Spend some time on the weekends, go grocery shopping, plan out your meals. And, sometimes you're going to pack food and you're not going to want to eat it because the cafeteria looks so amazing and that restaurant downstairs looks so amazing. Like, I bought this boring meal, but it's almost like quitting smoking. I've never quit smoking before, but I don't smoke. But, it's hard. It's like getting past. I used to have a Coke addiction. Oh my God. I used to drink so much Coke, and especially when I was younger, I used to drink, like, Coke was my thing. You couldn't tell me anything about Coke. And I remember when I told myself I was going to stop drinking soda. Oh my God, it was so hard. I had all the reasons why water was disgusting. Water is like, it makes me want to throw up. Like, I actually told somebody that, I can't drink water. It makes me want to gag. Like, I had all these excuses, but then I had to get to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't know what is in this soda, even though I still drink it now, but occasionally. I don't know what's in this soda. I was looking at the can one day and I'm seeing all these chemicals, something cone, something oxide. I'm like, what is all this stuff? I know what it is. This could possibly kill me. I don't know. And so I had to force myself to start figuring out how to drink water. And I tried flat water. It didn't work. And then I went to seltzer, and that was like my sweet spot. So it might seem hard now, but you have to get to a place where, like, okay, why do I want to do this? Why do I need to quit eating out? Because I'm trying to save, because I'm trying to pay off debt, because I'm trying to XYZ. You have to get to that place. Okay, so that's discipline. And finally, I want to talk about, Patricia said, check your account at the end of the month and you'll see how much you actually spend. Yep. So one of the exercises I have my coaching clients do is I have them keep a spending journal. And I tell them off the bat that this is a chore. It's going to be a chore for you. It's going to be hard work for you, which means you go get a notebook when you have, or you spend $1 buying one at the dollar store. And what you have to do between now and the next time we talk in a week is that you have to put that notebook in your bag with a pen, easily accessible. Every time you buy something, write it down in the notebook. And there's something about seeing your own handwriting on paper. And there's also something about the inconvenience of always having to bring out that journal every time you spend that will open your eyes. It will open your eyes to see your spending habits in ways that you have never recognized before. There's lots of people that they make transactions 10, 20 times a day and they don't realize it because they're buying gum, they're buying the magazine, they're buying the coffee, they're stopping to buy a banana, they're stopping to do this, they're putting gas, they're doing this. They make 20 different transactions and 18 of them will be on pure nonsense stuff that if you ask them, they'll tell you, there's no way, girl, there's no way I spent that much money on that. No way, until they actually see it in their own handwriting. So if overspending is something that you're working on, Get a spending journal and challenge yourself every time. Do it for 7 days. Every time you want to buy something, you're about to pay for something, as you put your wallet in the middle of the book, and then you have to write it down. And a lot of times you may find that, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy this because I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to write down that transaction. Okay, so let's get into let's get into goal setting. So goal setting is the third cornerstone of mindset, discipline, goal setting. And goal setting is taking what you want to do, what it is that you want to accomplish, and assigning time and numbers to it. It's taking that your dream and enabling it to become a reality by planning for it to become a reality. So goal setting, we all have goals. We have different goals. I want to pay off my debts. I want to save money. I want to max out my retirement. I want to get a better job. I want to do this. I want to get married. I want to have a baby. We have all these different goals in our lives. And for the most part, your goals cost money. I don't know if there are any free goals. Like, travel costs money, having kids costs money, getting married costs money, paying off debt costs money, saving money costs money. Like, whatever goals you have, I want to catch up on Game of Thrones, or cable costs money. Your goals probably are going to cost you money. So the first thing you want to do is prioritize your goals. Make a priority of your goals, 1 to however many goals you have. And when you prioritize your goals, it's going to give you what you need to focus on. So maybe, you realize that some of your goals are like, I don't really want to do this. And you have 10 goals or 5 goals, and then you pick your top 3 and you make them your ultimate focus for the next few months or the next few years, right? Once you have your goals prioritized, the next thing you want to do is you want to price out your goals. So many people do not attach costs to their goals. And because they don't attach costs to their goals, they never really accomplish them because they don't know what they are saving for. They know what the goal is, but they don't know how much it's going to cost them. And so because they don't know that, they never save enough to be able to accomplish their goals. So for instance, you want to save for retirement. There's calculators online that will help you determine exactly how much you need to be saving for retirement, right? You want to pay off your debt. There's calculators online that will tell you how much you need to be paying each month to be able to pay off your debt by X date, right? Or it'll tell you based on how much you're putting in, this is when you're going to get debt free. You want to be able to take a luxury vacation. How much does the vacation cost? You want to have a baby. How much is it going to cost you to get, let's say you don't get that much in your baby shower, to get diapers for a year, to get a babysitter to come help you, to buy, wipes, things like that. There are all these costs. You want to have a wedding. How much is it going to cost you to have a wedding at this location versus this location? You have to price out your goals. And then once you've priced out your goals, right, given the fact that now you know what each goal is going to cost you, then you want to assign timelines. And sometimes you may realize that because you now know the cost of your goal, your timeline may be unrealistic. So you want to retire with $1 million in the bank, then it might not be realistic for you to retire next year. You might need to spend more time, putting money towards your goals, or you may need to figure out how to reduce the cost of your goal. So that's kind of what you want to think about. And then also when it comes to goal setting, you want to make sure that, okay, you have these huge, massive goals. Saving for retirement is one of the biggest goals that people have. And that is a goal that requires a lot of time. And so break it, or paying off debt could be a huge goal depending on how much debt you have. Saving money could be a huge goal depending on how much you want to save. So now you have that end goal in mind, right? Take a goal and break it down into chunks. Okay, this is how much I need to have saved within 10 years. This is how much I need to have saved within 5 years, within 2.5 years, within 1 year. And this is how much I need to be saving every month. Break it down into small goals so that as you start to work on, that big goal, you know that, okay, this month, I know that I'm trying to get to $1 million, but this month, in order for me to eventually get to that $1 million, I have to save this amount. In order for me to eventually get to that point where I've paid off all of my debts, I need to pay off this amount this month. Like, break it into small chunks. And then when you have those small amounts, like your monthly amounts, take those amounts, put them into your budget, right? And every time you get paid, you automatically have places for your money to go. You don't want to allow yourself to have money that's just sitting around, not doing anything, slipping out of your pocket, going to Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, knowing that you have these goals you're trying to accomplish. And every now and then, every couple of months, you want to come in and take a look at your goals and say, okay, have my wants changed? Have the things I desire changed? Have the things I want to accomplish changed? Have the price of my goals changed? Have other things come into play in my life that are going to cause these goals to change? and then readjust things accordingly. And so when it comes to goal setting, you want to make sure that your goals are prioritized, that you know the cost of your goals, that you assign timelines, which will help you determine how realistic your goals are or not. And then you want to take your goals and break them down into smaller chunks. So do you guys have any questions about goal setting? I know I said a mouthful in this chat series, but again, like I said, this is stuff that you have to always be working on. This is not a do it once and forget about it. This is something that is always, it's a work in progress. You have to always be working on this stuff. You have to always be working on your mindset. You have to always be working on your discipline. You have to always be working on your goal setting. And you cannot let these things lapse, because there's always going to be a challenge that's going to come and challenge your mindset. There's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to challenge your discipline. There's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to challenge the goals that you have set. And so you have to continue to condition yourself to face every challenge that may come your way. So that being said, if you guys are in this space where you feel like you need some help, you need some accountability, you need some hand holding, there's two things that I can help you with. Number one, I can help you with my one-on-one coaching. I do one-on-one coaching for people who need that extra help with their finances when it comes to figuring out how to pay off their debt, figuring out how to determine the things that matter to them, their core values, understanding what triggers their debt, learning how to budget, talking about investing, getting out of debt, saving money. I do one-on-one coaching that supports that, and you can learn about that at clevergirlfinance.com/services. And then I also have my accountability program, which, if you haven't heard of, is a 6-month program where it's a 6-month program that is a community of really awesome women, some of who are in this live chat right now. And it's basically, excuse me, it's a challenge every single week. You get a challenge delivered to you every single week on an action you need to be taking for your finances. And my favorite part about the accountability program is the community of women. So it is a bunch of really awesome women who are supporting each other, motivating each other, working on their goals, coming in to share their successes and their failures, and getting the encouragement that they need. These women they've made me so proud of what they've accomplished in the program. And it's a program you can start anytime. In addition to the weekly challenges and the support group, there's also live coaching. So I do monthly videos with my accountability group. There is a book club, and it's basically just set up in a space where you spend the next 6 months of your life getting your finances in order. You're setting the foundation to be successful with your money. And people are always like, well, why is it 6 months? Because it's 6 months because building wealth takes time, and changing habits takes time, and establishing discipline takes time. And it's not stuff you're going to do in a day or 2 days or in 1 week. It's stuff that you need to immerse yourself in. It's stuff that you need to commit to, and it's stuff that you need to be held accountable for. So that's why the program is 6 months. And so I encourage you to check it out. There's a link on your screen. If not, go to clevergirlfinanceacademy.com and check out the academy there. And yeah, this is everything I wanted to cover. So I appreciate you guys being here. For those of you who are not able to attend live, who are catching this as a replay, you're going to be getting the link in your inbox. For those of you who are here live, I'll be sending this to you as a link in your inbox. But I hope this has been useful. And like I said at the beginning, this is a great time to start working on your mindset, your discipline, your goal setting. It's a change of season. We're approaching the end of the year, and you want to master these things now. You want to start mastering these things now, because the end of the year is typically difficult in terms of staying on top of your goals, because there's so many distractions, from the sales to the holiday parties to the people you're going to be around that you haven't seen in a while, some of them who may not be good influences in your life. Holidays are a tough time. End of the year can be a tough time for many people to stay on top of their goals. So I encourage you to work on your mindset, work on your discipline and your goal setting. And a couple of you have said you're going to catch the replay. I encourage you to do that. Watch it as many times as you need to. Get your notebook, work on your plans, and I hope this helps you in some way. And don't forget to check out my accountability program on the link on your screen. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll catch you guys soon. Bye.